when we cue on? I mean, is that guy ready to film? Because that's what I intend to do, is just tell them that we're going to be showing the men's 3 and the women's 1 meter.
Diving too, yeah.
Okay.
You want to give anything about this? You know, the team records and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what's that 6? You got to make that correction.
Here, I've got it right here.
You made it on yours?
Well, I don't think I changed that.
Well, I'm going to go off the script that's
This is what? Which one needs to get changed?
6 and 2. Well, you're 6 and 3, right? The record for men?
Yeah, the script here says
Where's Loyola's here? Okay.
Ryan's got some stuff. West Point, and despite the rumors, we have no snow. In fact, we're in the Hudson Valley. We're approaching almost 330 days of no measurable snow. So the north may be getting snow in New York, but not here at West Point. Right now, we've got diving going on. Earlier at 11, the women competed in the 3-meter event. Army went 1, 2, 3, Loyola 4th. The men completed the 1-meter event. Army taking 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Loyola second. So the scores right now with one diving event: Army 15, Loyola 2. On the men, Army 14, Loyola 4. Right now we've got competing the women's 1-meter event and the men's 3-meter event. So our schedule will be, they'll complete the diving. Then we'll have the senior recognition ceremony and the swimming following immediately after that senior recognition ceremony, somewhere between the 12:50 and 1 o'clock time frame. At that time, I'll be joined by Tom Sleer, who will be the color commentator. And at this point, we want to switch and just show you the diving that will be taking place for the people who are interested in that. It's the women's 1-meter and the men's 3-meter. And are they going to show the diving? Yeah, I think we're just starting up. He's missing his script, so he's just doing what he's got.
Today's meet in Loyola, the Loyola men currently are 7 and 1, and the women are 4 and 4. Army enters the meet with the men at 6 and 3, and the women at 3 and 6. However, those that follow the programs realize Army this year upped their schedule, having lost on the men's side to Columbia, Northwestern, Penn State. The women lost to South Carolina, North Carolina, Wilmington, Navy, Miami of Florida, and Northwestern and Penn State. So the women have taken on a number of Power 5 conference teams in an effort to kind of up the level of competition and prepare for Patriot League competition. Those of you that follow Army, of course, if you follow the broadcast of the meet at Navy, the Navy men broke a 30-year streak, defeating the midshipmen 189 to 111. And in that meet, Arwen Harlow broke 3 conference and academy records in the 50, 100 free, and 400 free relay, and the men and women combined set 14 academy records in that meet. It was an exciting afternoon here at Crandall.
Loyola, interestingly, joined the Patriot League in 2014. Before they were a member of the MAC. They started the first year in 2014. The Loyola men were 8th. They were 4th in 2022. Army was 2nd. So Loyola on the men's side has been right on Army's heels at the Patriot Championship. Interestingly, this competition between Loyola and Army is the first time the two teams have ever met in a dual meet, and it's the first time the Greyhounds have ever made a trip to West Point in order to compete. So a couple of firsts this afternoon, and here we see the view of the diving, the men's 3-meter going along. They are, I believe, in about the 2nd or 3rd round. They'll do 6 rounds of diving, and we'll get you the place update as soon as they're complete. So at this time, we will go ahead and sign off and watch the diving, and we'll pick back up the broadcast with commentary at the senior recognition ceremony, which will start at the completion of the diving events. Welcome back, everybody. We've completed the diving events. We'll have those events here shortly. I'm joined now by Tom Sleer, who is going to serve as the color commentator for today's meet. We're getting ready to have Army come out. We'll have a senior recognition ceremony. We'll turn you over to the public address announcer for that event. But, Tom, we've got a few minutes here. And so what? Loyola, obviously a team that is mid to upper half of the Patriot League, always kind of behind Army. What are you looking for in today's meet?
Well, as you said, Ray, Loyola is definitely coming along in the Patriot League. The men Loyola men and women joined the Patriot League in 2014. Pretty much ranked in sixth until the men dropped down to fourth.
Bring Tom up just
last year.
What one is he?
bring him up just a hair.
Which number?
Oh, that would be his. So 3.
Okay.
All right, we good now? Good, okay. All right, as I was saying, they're starting over here again. Loyola has really been coming along, particularly for the men. They were in 2020 at the Patriot League. They dropped down from 6th, which they've been ever since they joined the league in 2014. Dropped down to 3rd, which got Brian Loeffler, the head coach, the Coach of the Year award. The women have pretty much been 6th in the Patriot League since they've been here. Now, the Army women have always been 4th or better. The men have always been 2nd. And I don't believe today is going to be, as far as the final scores go, particularly the way after what the diving did, I believe that Army's going to come out winning both the men and the women's, and probably by a significant margin because of the number of good swimmers they have. That's not to say, however, Loyola doesn't have some very good swimmers, and they do. All right, Max Verheyen, they're going to be announcing here the Army senior recognition. We'll get back to you in a second.
I gotta be able to turn the page. I got it.
As we get ready for the introductions for the teams, I'll turn you over to the public address announcer as they get ready to introduce the swimmers for Army, and we'll senior recognition ceremony, and then we'll start the meet with the 200 medley relay. They're doing the plain 16 event, standard 16 event, dual meet format, 200 medley relay, 200 IM, and the 400 free relay.
Is I think you need me to have this one, right? Okay. Yeah, if you would, I think hold that one. Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you. See, this one is so loud. It's picking up everything. I need it like down here. That one it sounds like it's got. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Crandall Pool for this afternoon swim meet between the Loyola, Maryland Greyhounds and your Army West Point Black Knights. It's Firstie Recognition Day, and at this time, we ask that you direct your attention to the pool deck for a presentation honoring our 7 firsties. Throughout their time at West Point, these cadets from the class of 2023 have dedicated their time to this team, and their efforts have been evident in the pool and in the classroom. Their contributions have not gone unnoticed, and today we'd like to recognize these outstanding cadet athletes. As we announce their names, the athletes and their families will be greeted by head coach Brent Nigro, head diving coach Chris Waters, associate head coach Jacob Sire, assistant coach Kelly Lennon, assistant coach Matt Lowe, assistant coach Kim Fennessy, officer representative Colonel Van Poppel, and Officer Representative Colonel Margaret Nowicki, and Senior Associate Athletics Director Abby Howard, who present the cadets with the Athletic Director's coin. Before we recognize the Black Knights, we'd like first to honor Loyola's 18 members of their senior class. Please join us and Coach Nygren in celebrating the Greyhounds. Sarah Abgrell, Carolyn Apri, Reagan Bruno, Elizabeth Featherston, Michelle Lebed, Kyle Cannon, Dylan Champagne, Jared Copeland, Sean Keller, Brett Legambi, Dylan Majaf, Tan Hung Win, Tommy Noon, Colin Seabolt, Dean Spicer, Jack Still, Max Vernihe, and Matt Voigt. Congratulations on your successful careers. And now, please turn your attention to the Army team as we honor the class of 2023. Our first senior is Sean Dwyer, a freestyle swimmer from Savage, Minnesota. Sean is in company I-2 branch engineers with an armor detail. A civil engineering major, a two-time Patriot League all-academic member, Sean has also been named Patriot League second team in 2019 and 2022. In the program, Sean holds the record for the 200 free, as well as holds the Crandall pool record for the 200 free. Sean is also first in the 200. Sean's most memorable moment at West Point is beating Navy. Please join us in celebrating Sean Dwyer. Our next senior is Tanner Falls, a freestyle swimmer from Scottsdale, Arizona. Tanner is from Company D2 and Branch the Mighty Field Artillery. Tanner is hoping to post at Fort Hood. Tanner was named Patriot League Academic Team in 2019 and 2020. Tanner is part of the 400 free relay and holds the Academy record, and additionally is part of the 800 free relay that holds the Academy record. Tanner is fourth all-time in the 200 free and fourth in the 100 free program history. Tanner will also graduate with a degree in business management. Please join us in celebrating Tanner Falls. Next up is Sean Keenan, a backstroke swimmer, a native of Lafayette Hill, Pennsylvania. Sean is majoring in business management. Sean is from Company F1, branched infantry, and hoping to post at Fort Campbell. A two-time Patriot League academic member, Sean was named Patriot League All-Academic in 2019. Sean is joined today by his parents, Greg and Jody. Please join us in celebrating Sean Keenan. Hailing from Spring, Texas, is our next senior captain, Jacob Powell, a freestyle and IM swimmer, a member of Company E3. Jacob is majoring in electrical engineering, branch signal with an armor detail. Jacob is hoping to post at Fort Stewart, a member of the 2021 Patriot League All-Academic Team. Jacob is part of the 400 free relay and holds the Academy record, and is ranked fourth all-time in the 400 back. Jacob's memorable moment was the 400 relay from the Army-Naval dual meet last semester. Jacob is joined today by his friends on the team. Please join us in celebrating Jacob Powell. Our final senior is on the men's side is fellow captain Will Rankin, a freestyle swimmer from Hull, Iowa. Will is a member of Company D1 and branched Medical Corps last semester, a three-time Patriot League All-Academic Team member, as well as the three-time Patriot League All-Academic member. Will is also a part of the 400 free relay that holds the Academy record. Will is also sixth overall in the 500 free, the 100 free, in the West Point top 10. Will's most memorable moment at West Point was beating Navy in the star match this year. A life science major, he is joined today by his brother Cohen. Please join us in celebrating Will Rankin. Our first senior on the women's team is Captain Angela Nguyen, a freestyle swimmer from San Francisco, California, majoring in Chinese and minoring in cybersecurity. Angela is a member of Company C3 and is branching military intelligence. A two-time Patriot League All-Academic member, Angela is part of the 200 and 400 free relay that holds the Academy record and is ninth on the all-time list in the 50 free. Angela is joined today by her company friends. Angela's memorable moment at West Point is meeting Maggie McDonald. Please join us in celebrating Angela. Our final senior on the women's side is co-captain Maggie McDonald, a breaststroke swimmer from Evergreen, Colorado. Maggie is a member of Company E4. Maggie is the ninth all-time in the 100 breast. Maggie is joined today by her company friends. Please join us in celebrating Maggie McDonald. Fans, give it up for the Army West Point Swimming and Diving Team Class of 2023. Go Army, beat Loyola.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tom Sleer. I'm color commentator for this afternoon's meet. Ray Bossi will be joining me shortly. He's the play-by-play. We're going to get started here in a couple minutes with the women's 200 medley relay. Just before the ceremony for the seniors, I was saying this afternoon's meet, mid-season meet, which tells you a couple things. Neither team is rested nor shaved. And that's been confirmed by the coaches. So the times won't be what you might have seen, certainly not what the cadets did against Navy a couple months ago, a month ago. And it will be, and expect the same for Loyola. Both teams are real meet that they're pointing toward is the Patriot Leagues, which will start February 16th. But this afternoon will be an interesting competition. Both teams in the rise in a certain way. Army's trying to close in with Navy, which they did successfully, part of their mission, the men winning the dual meet in the beginning of December. The women hope to accomplish that here over the next couple of years. And then the second mission is beating Navy in the Patriot League Championships. And then but Loyola is also coming along very nicely. Their men in 2020 got up to third at the Patriot League Championships. Last year there was no Patriot League Championships held in 2021 because of COVID, but last year they were fourth. They surprisingly won the 200 free relay at the Patriot League Championships, their first relay victory ever there. Also, they beat Army in the 200 free relay and also the 200 medley relay. Don't think they have the numbers to beat really seriously compete against Army in the final score of today's meet, but they have a lot of very good swimmers. And you're going to see one of them here in the medley relay on the men's side. Here we got the
Well, Tom, I've just got back. I've got the scores from the diving, and the women's 1 meter, Army goes 1-2-3. Min Donald, the score of 284.03. Kayla Teuscher, 248.10. And Abigail Gibbs at 244.80. Fourth goes to Cassidy Gorkovich from Loyola at 207. Same results on the women's 3 meter, except Donald takes first, 302. Abigail Gibbs for Army in second, 243. And third was Teuscher, 232. Cassidy Gorgovich 205. So Army takes 1, 2, 3, Loyola fourth. On the men's 1 meter, Isaac Newman on the 3 meter, 363 is first from Army. Second, Jack Still from Loyola, 283 to 8. In third, Alex Zhang from Army in a close contest, 283.05. And fourth from Army, Adam Elamadi, 242.63. Same order of finish for the men's 1 meter. So Army takes 1, 3, 4 on the men's 1 meter. So the score after the diving of both events, on the women's side, Army 32, Loyola 4. On the men's side, Army 28, Loyola 8. Certainly a good cushion to start the meet with, Tom, so you can see that diving will be complete. They'll just take swimming breaks when they get to the diving, and now we've got the Army team being introduced to the crowd coming out before the start of the meet.
Yeah, Ray, and I think the diving, the results of diving pretty much indicate that I think in a couple hours from now we're going to see that Army's won both the men and the women meets. However, like I said before, there'll be a lot of good individual races. We'll get to those in a little bit. But the first one, the 200 medley relay that's coming up here, the women's, you'll see probably one of the better women swimmers in the Patriot League, really need, is a junior at Loyola. She'll be doing the backstroke leg. She did a 24.5 last year in this race in 200 medley relay at the Patriot League Championships. Nobody from the Patriot League is even close to that.
Right. We had wondered whether she'd do the breaststroke leg or the backstroke leg, and she's going the backstroke leg on their medley. Just interesting comparison looking at the standings or the times this year. Army's women's medley has been 140.46. That was, of course, at Navy. Loyola has been 143.15. That probably was done at their House Invitational in December. Certainly suited, possibly shaved, and somewhat rested. So on the standings so far this year, Army has almost a 3 seconds advantage on the women's 2 medley relay. But as you said, look for Army. If they're going to beat them, I suspect they're going to have to come from behind, because we know Meade is leading off Loyola's relay with the backstroke leg.
Absolutely. With her, she does even a second off of that. It's under 26. She's still going to give Loyola a good lead. And so it's going to be catch-up for the women.
Yeah, Army will use Huang on backstroke, McGult on breaststroke, Williams on fly, and Megan Cole anchoring on free. So that is their best relay, pretty much. So they realize that we talked to the staff on both teams, and we're getting ready to do the national anthem here.
Yeah, okay.
Welcome back. We've just concluded the national anthem. We'll shortly begin the women's 200 medley relay, which will be the first event of our meet. And as we've talked about, again, the scoring for a college dual meet, if you're not familiar, the relays 11-4-2, 11 for first, 4 for second, 3 for third. Only 3 relays can score, and a school can only score 2 relays. So you can't take 1, 2, 3, although you'll see all 8 lanes filled with up to 4 entries per school in the medley relay. The individual events scored 9, 4, 3, 2, 1. There are 19 available points. You can only score 3 individuals, so if you make 4 entries, one of them is not going to be scoring. You cannot take first through fourth. The best you can take is 1, 2, 3. So a 1, 2, 3 sweep gets you a 16-3 advantage. The magic number, and those of you who listen to the Navy meet understand, 151. That guarantees you a victory. There's 300 available points in the meet. We will not have that because Loyola only had 1 diver, so it's probably right now it's going to be about 298 to win the meet. We'll keep you abreast of that, and it is possible in a dual meet to tie. So we'll keep you abreast of the score as we go along, as we go through each of the events, as we wait to get ready for the women's 200 medley relay.
Okay, just one other thing here is as you look at the screen, from the bottom is lane 1, up at the top is lane 8. Army will be in the odd numbered lanes, and Loyola will be in the even number lanes. And this first event, the lanes to watch, I think from looking at the entries in the medley relay, are lanes 5 and lanes 4 for Loyola, lane 5 for Army.
Yeah, and as you look at it, Loyola, everybody's in a black suit, so that's not going to help you if you're looking at suits. Caps, Loyola has their silver Loyola Hounds hats. Army primarily with black caps. I see a few white ones, but for the most part, Army's in black caps, Loyola in silver caps. Again, Loyola in the odd lanes, Army in the even. Lane 1 is to the bottom of your screen. Keep your eye on lane 4. That's Lily Mead, who we talked about, probably should give the Loyola the lead after the first leg. Army's best relay is in 5. Loyola's in 4. Mead turns first at the 25, followed by Huang in 5.
Now, swimming second for Army breaststroker, Ariel McGaul. It's probably the best right now in the Patriot League, and the catch-ups should begin here in this leg.
So McGault leads the Patriot League, has had a great season so far, and she's closing the gap on Stimmel, who is swimming the leg for Loyola. So the race looks like it's going to shape up in 4 and 5. McGault in 5, closing the gap on Stimmel in 4. Williams will go in for Army, Schultz for Loyola. Loyola still with a slight lead. McGault splitting 29-31. Stimmel 30.3. In the fly leg, Williams now opening a slight lead over Schultz in 4. So it's going to come down to the freestyle leg. Megan Cole and Charlie Tullio.
Now Megan Cole swam at 22.5 against Navy from a flat start. She should take this, but
turning first is Loyola. That's Tullio. So it's going to be a sprint to the finish. Tullio looked like she's got a slight lead. Cole's closing. I'd still say Tullio in 4. And Tullio, 145.05 for Loyola. Army takes second and third at 145.32. And Army in B in lane 3, 146.52. So Army takes 2-3. Loyola takes first. Interesting, Cole split 23-3-7.
Not what you hoped for, but
but outsplit the Loyola relay swimmer by 3/10. It's interesting the fly finish for Army kind of hit short and had to kind of wait to get in. It wasn't a great finish and kind of slowed the transition. We're quickly transitioning to the men's relay. Kind of the same story. Loyola in 4, Army in 5. Watch.
Yeah, the strong relay for Army is in lane 5. Now leading off for Loyola, Teddy Cross, very good freshman. Very good backstroke, or a top recruit for them.
And Loyola 23-39 with about a 2/10 lead over Army. However, going in the water is Cohen Rankin, who was the top high school breaststroke recruit in the country coming out in the 100 last year. And he has quickly closed the gap and put up and given Army a slight lead as they head into the finish of the breaststroke leg. Jacob Powell in the water for Army. Patrick Hayburn for Loyola. So it's 4 and 5 going at it again. As we saw in the women's, they turn even at the 25 mark. Both swimmers good underwater. Powell just maybe a slight lead. You've got Owen Harlow anchoring for Army, and Caleb Kelly, who we'll see race. Both of them have best times under 20. So this is the battle of the two best sprinters probably in the Patriot League, and they're going at it, anchoring the relay. Powell and Kelly, it looks like Powell's got a slight lead for Army. Powell anchoring the 19:34, gives Army the win at 1:29:34. Kelly split 19:66, certainly not a bad split as well, and they're 1:29:67. Army's B takes third at 1:32:74 in lane 4, so Army goes 1-3 in that event, Loyola in second.
That's a very good split for Army on 19:34. He's been under 19 this season.
Yeah, he set the academy record, 1967 is his academy record flat start. And so those two will match up again in the 50. So we'll see them in a flat start race. I see the two officials talking. I'm not sure that there might be a DQ.
Just a correction, Ray. Actually, Owen Harlow's academy record time is 19:55.
19:55 at Navy.
At Navy.
Right. So his.
Yeah.
So 19:34, certainly not out of the realm of possibilities, but again, an unsuited, unrested time. Not bad.
And both teams, 1:29 mid at this time of the year, very good swims for both teams.
All right, so that means as we score, just starting fresh from the medley relay. After the medley relay now, Army, actually Loyola leading 11-6. These are without the diving scores that will add in as those events come up in the program. And on the men's side on the medley, Army leading 13-4. Next event is the women's 1,000 free. Setting the field for you in lane 1, Carolina Sarez from Loyola. Lane 3, Mary Rotenberg from Army. Lane 4, Faith Carr from Loyola. Lane 5, Bridget O'Shaughnessy from Army. And in lane 6 from Loyola, Gianna Massetti. So we have 5 young ladies competing in the 1,000, and O'Shaughnessy and 5 jumping out for an early lead. Of course, we know Tom in the 1,000. That really doesn't mean much.
Doesn't mean much at all here. It's where Shaughnessy's a freshman. She has been 4:55 in the 500, low 17 minutes in the mile. And Rottenberg from Army in lane 3, she was scored points in the mile last year at the Patriot Leagues.
It looks Kira McCullum, who went 10:15 at Army, or at the Navy meet for Army, is not in the event.
She currently is the best 1,000 swim this year.
Yeah, she's scheduled to go the 200 free in lane 1, and this is the next event. And the early leader in lane 5 is O'Shaughnessy, turning first, kind of setting the pace, and has about a body length lead as she turns at the 125.
Now, the trick to this race is to watch their 50 splits, about starting with third or fourth 50. They should level out there. They started now about 31 is what you should be seeing on every one after this. We'll see.
O'Shaughnessy turns at a 131, 31.6 that 50.
Yep.
almost just under a second ahead of both Rotenberg and Carr in 3 and 4.
Yes.
So she certainly sets herself up as being the dominant factor in the race so far, with 1 length to go to the 200. Tom, I would say these swimmers at this point, probably somewhere in the 10:20s, 10:30s would be a decent swim.
I'd say, yeah, very good. You're right. If they get under 10:30, if Shaughnessy gets under 10:30, a very good swim for her right now. And she's 31.8, dropping off a little bit.
2:03 at the 200.
Yeah. And she was 59, 58, and 100. Yeah, she's dropping off some.
And you can see, if you're watching, very little kick at this point. 2 4-beat easy kicks. Carr from Loyola in lane 4, really just kind of a steady 2-beat, as nobody has used much of their legs, which you'll see so far. O'Shaughnessy's still under 32, 31.9.
And those two are
32. Massetti from Loyola in 6 is in 5th, and Suarez from Loyola in 2 is in 6th. So the race appears to be in lane 5, Bridget O'Shaughnessy, and then Mary Rotenberg and Faith Carr in 3 and 4 are setting up for the battle for second. This is not an event that Army is real deep in. As you notice, they only have 2 events. I think, Tom, it's no surprise. It's one of the areas of their team that they're looking to try to build up. They've got their distance swimmers, but certainly if you can give those kids a break in a meet, it's a nice thing to do.
It is, but what you say is true for the women. The depth and distance has not been good for the last 3 or 4 years for various reasons. The men, however, is a different story.
No, the men are dominant in the Patriot League, and we saw that at Navy as they went 1, 2, 3 in the 1,000 with one time under 9 minutes and the other just right at 9 minutes. So, okay, as we are approaching the 400-yard mark now, O'Shaughnessy still leading. You see her in front. Faith Carr in 4 has now opened up a little bit of a lead over Rotenberg in 3. O'Shaughnessy turns 4:11. She's now 32.1 per 50, so she's going around
She's
104.
actually bringing it down. That's a good swim for her.
33.1 and 2 for Rotenberg and Carr. So they still are close enough. Massetti in 6, ooching up a little bit. She's 33.1. So the swimmers in 3, 4, and 6 all splitting about the same that last 50. So see if O'Shaughnessy can be under their 32.4.
It's a little
up a little bit. Rotenberg and Carr turning just about 4 100ths on their split, so they still are in a nose-to-nose battle, although Carr in 4 is still holding a slight lead. So we're approached the halfway mark now at the 500. It appears setting the field, O'Shaughnessy in 5 for Army, with a significant multiple body length lead as she gets ready to turn at the 5. We've got Carr from Loyola in 4, followed by Rotenberg. O'Shaughnessy 5:16 at the 500.
She's going to be about 10:35, 10:38.
Carr 5:23 for Loyola, followed by Rotenberg.
Rotenberg is fading now, 33.8.
Your 4th place Massetti out in 6th, and Suarez in 2 in 5th in lane 2. O'Shaughnessy 32.7. So she's the only one that has been splitting sub-33s. So she widens her lead with each wing. That one, Carr 32.9. Now Carr seems to probably had the strategy to swim the first 500 and try to build the second half. She's starting to pull away. The question is, will she be able to build it and close the gap that O'Shaughnessy has built on her? So Carr in 4, trying to make a move and see if she can close the large gap that O'Shaughnessy has built up, turning at the 600, 622, 32.6.
So her 50s have been very consistent. Ideally, it's the same time in all 50s. But she's close enough that I think she's got this race in hand.
Massetti now in 6, closing up on Rotenberg from Army in 3. So Shaughnessy in 5, Carr in 4. Rotenberg in 3 and Massetti in 6 are the field as they turn at the 650. Again, it's 40 lengths of the pool. Coming up on the 700, so they have 300 yards to go. Tom, I don't think there's any way that this isn't O'Shaughnessy's race. The question is, how fast can she go?
Yeah,
and you wonder if is she saving anything for a race later? I mean, okay, I've got the win in hand. Let me back off and just comfortably win. O'Shaughnessy is scheduled to swim the 500 later in the program, so is she swimming for time or place? She certainly has got the first place sewed up. So
yeah, she does, yeah. Who's to know? She is swimming. She did 32.4 in the last 50. She might try to bring it down here at the end.
This is the 750. She turns at 7:59.6.
32.4 again. Yeah,
32. So she's been 32 mid to low pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Carr turns in 2nd in lane 4, 33 flat, 8:09. Massetti in 6 has now taken over 3rd. Rotenberg turning in 4th. And Suarez in 2 now also closing. In fact, Rotenberg splits 34.7 in 2. Suarez 33.4. So lane 2 closing on lane 3. Again, all 5 girls will score. There you see O'Shaughnessy pulling away, getting ready to turn at the 850 with a comfortable lead. But right now it's Army, Loyola, Loyola, Army, Loyola. Again, the scoring for a dual meet 9-4-3-2-1. So Army guaranteed the first place 9 points. Even if Army only gets 5th, they're going to outscore Loyola 10-9 in the event. So we'll have the bell lap as O'Shaughnessy approaches the 950 mark, letting her know she's got 2 laps to go. There's your bell lap, 32.4. She's been consistently, Tom, 32 mid to lows for about the past 300-400.
Yeah, she has. And a good swim for her would have been low 1030s. I don't think she's going to be there.
Oh,
that looks like it's more, she can get under 1040.
You know, they rang the bell too early.
They did.
That bell was rang at the 900
instead of 950. Yeah. Okay, now they got it right. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to have trouble getting under 1040. So.
So a little error on the officials' part, ringing the bell too early. Not sure what happened on that. We were just calling it, sawing, walking up, and then, yeah, you're right. We looked up, and all of a sudden, wait a minute. So here's O'Shaughnessy winning the 1,000, 10:41.57. Yeah. 31-1 the last 50. Second place is going to be Faith Carr from Loyola in lane 4. She comes in 10:53.44. Third place will be Gian Massetti in lane 6, 10:59.32. In 4th will be lane 2. Caroline Suarez from Loyola, 11:04. And 5th place, Mary Rotenberg from Army in 11:10.14. So Army takes 1-5. That's a 10-9 split for Army favor. So the score without the diving right now is Loyola 20, Army 16. Again, remember, we're going to add, Army has 30 points and Loyola 4. We're going to throw into the diving when they get to that point.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Just go up here.
So, Tom, looking at this one, Army's going to throw in Bryce Barrel, Ian Tanzel in 3 and 5, Clayton Bernauer in lane 1, and in lane 7, Elias Contaganis. And certainly Barrel and Tanzel, no surprise, they are the two best miler or 1,000 people in the Patriot League, and they both went 1-2 at the Navy meet. So look for them to dominate this event.
No doubt. Last year, Ian Tanzel, who's in lane 5, won the mile at the Patriot League with a time of 14:57, barely just about a second half off being getting invited to the NC2As. In lane 3, Bryce Barrel is a national junior team, USA Swimming National Junior Team member, well, former. Also at the World Team Trials, he was 8th in the 1,500 meters and 10th in the 800 meters, the World Team Trials this past summer. He's probably one of the better distance swimmers in the country.
Yeah.
So I think.
So you see Bryce Barrel in lane 3 jumping out early. He tends to be somebody who jumps out quickly and sets the pace. He's getting ready to turn at the 150, followed closely by Ian Tanzel, his teammate.
Yep.
And then it's Alex Plavakis from Loyola. And looking at the standings so far in the Patriot League, certainly Barrel's been 8:59 against Navy, Tanzel at 9:01, Bernauer 9:14. Looking down to see where Plavakis, looking for him, he's been 9:42.5 so far in the 1,000. So Army right now 1, 2, 3, and could very well go 1, 2, 3, 4 in this event as Eli Contanagas in lane 7.
I think we'll probably get a good lesson on distance swimming right here from Bryce Barrel.
Yeah, he certainly.
Lane 3, he's 28.2 is what he's been holding. Let's see, 28.2.
Right.
And that's the way it's done. Just
Right.
holding that consistently throughout. And then you have some left at the end, you bring it on at the end.
Right, and Tanzel, I mean, trains every day with Barrel, so they know each other. I would expect Tanzel would try to hang as close as he can and try to make a run at the end. Contanagas, I don't know that much about for Army in lane 7. Contanagas is a junior from Orlando, Florida.
Well, we had Bryce went up to 28.6 there. That doesn't sound like much, but that's significant for somebody like him. 4/10 slower in that 50. Let's see if he brings it back down.
Says they come in to turn at the
28.9. Oh. And now
350.
Ian Tanzel's getting a little quicker.
Tanzel closing the lead, and Contanagas out in 7, 29.3. Clayton Barrel in 1, 29 low. Barrel.
Yeah, there you go. Another
28.9,
yep.
28.7. So Tanzel closing about 0.2 every 50. And it's nothing we haven't seen. Those two have gone at it the entire year so far, and certainly at the Navy meet. You know, just barely 2 seconds separating the two at 8:59 and 9:01.
$29.1, $28.5. Oh, he's really catching up now.
Bernauer in 1 split 29.1. Contanagas in 7, 29.7. So Army running 1, 2, 3, 4 as you look across the even lanes. Again, the lane 1 is to the bottom of your screen, lane 8 to the top. You can see Barrel now turning at the 500, 441. 27.9. So Barrel probably saw Tanzel and said, hey, I'm putting the hammer down on this 50. He's getting too close.
Yeah,
so they turning at the halfway mark. You see Barrel in 3 in front, Tanzel in 5 just above him. 1 lane turning. Lane 1 is hard to see now. Turning now is at the 525. Contanagas in 7. And Bernauer in 1.
Up. Yeah, it looks like he's picking it up a little bit.
Yeah, Barrel said, I don't want to let you get that close.
Not quite yet.
So they're averaging 56 mid to low 100 roughly. I can see them maybe going in the 920 range, 920
exactly.
low, something like that, just extrapolating a projected time.
28.7.
Yeah, Barrel out splitting him by 5/10 that 50.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
Bernauer now in 3rd. Contanagas in 4th. Hanging in there in lane 4 is Alex Pavakis from Loyola at 550. He's kind of in between the two swimmers for 3rd. So the battle for 3rd is not decided yet between Bernauer in 1, Contanagas in 7, and Plavakis in 4. Certainly 1st and 2nd is going to be decided between the 2 lead swimmers that you see approaching. That's Barrel in 3 and Tanzel in 5. Certainly looking ahead, Tom, those two, Barrel and Tanzel at the Patriot Championships in the mile. Certainly 2 big scores there. And when they extrapolate that, and a 1-2 finish there, of course, there'll be the Navy swimmers will have something to say, but those are going to 2 people that I would think that without a doubt should finish in the top 8.
Oh, sure, yeah. And Clayton Barrow now in lane 1, he had a very interesting, let's say, critical race against Navy, getting 3rd in the 1,000, doing his best time. I wouldn't count him out. The question is, he has a lot of other events. Whether he'll swim the mile that day, who knows? He also is a very good backstroker, but he probably will. So I would say Army would have 3 people in the top 8.
Yeah, Bernauer now has kind of opened up that lead for 3rd. He's now 29.7, 7:15, about 4 seconds ahead of Plavakis, who has now started to pick up and gone by Contanagas in 7. So Loyola swimmer in 4, moving into 4th. Contanagas has kind of fallen off the pace in 7.
And here comes Tanzel again. Ian Tanzel is coming back well over a half second.
Yeah, you look now as you watch them. Tanzel is closing on Barrel. And as I said, through the season, they've raced and provided some exciting races. The last 100, they've got 7 lengths to go.
And, yeah, this will get interesting.
Yeah, Tanzel's not going to just hand him the race. He's outsplit him by about a 1/10 that 50.
Yeah.
Tanzel looks like he's gone to his legs just a little bit more than Barrel, I'd say, at this point. Yeah, Tanzel looks like he's gone into the speed mode. Barrel still kind of in that lazy 2-beat kick.
Okay, and they got 100 left at the 900, 829.
Barrel picks up a 1/10 there.
Yeah.
So they got 100 yards to go. I think it'll get closer, but I put my money on Barrel in 3.
Yeah, he tends to be very strong at the end of his race. I don't think, here he goes. Yep.
Yeah, Barrel, now you can see a distinctive kick in lane 3. He knows he's got...
Yep. And we got the bell going at the right time.
Yeah, the bell's at the right point, so we have 2 laps to go. Barrel now a noticeable inclusion of the legs, and so, yeah, there's no question.
There you go. Hey, what happened there? Hey, Coach, I had a lot left. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, he's really...
Oh, well, what's this 50 going to be, 25?
He looks like he's anchoring the 400 free relay. So Bryce Barrel in lane 3 winning the 1,000, 9:22.02.
Oh, that's a very good swim. That's a very good swim for this
Ian
time.
Tanzel in second, 9:27.
Not bad at all. Yep.
Yeah, Barrel at the last 50, 25.4. So he probably split somewhere in 51, 52 range that last 100. Third place, Clayton Bernauer, 9:43. Plavakis from Loyola, 9:46.
A very good swim for him.
Certainly came back and
Yeah, he came back the second part of the
right.
race.
Yeah, he
Very good
kind
swim for him.
of let everybody get away from him a little bit. So Army goes 1, 2, 3 in that event. Loyola gets 4th and 5th because you can only take the top 3. So the score right now is 29 for Army and 7 for Loyola. Again, that's without the diving, in which Army dominated. The next event for the women is the 200-yard freestyle. Setting the field real quick, McMillan from Army in 1, Lebed from Loyola in 2, Kronig from Army in 3, Schultz from Loyola in 4, Zhang from Army in 5, Sasuski from Loyola in 6, Weber from Army in 7, and Mungo from Loyola in 8. Lane 7, Molly Weber from Army just jumps out quick at the 50.
Yeah, she's a 148 200 freestyler from New Jersey. She's a freshman. And really hadn't had a chance to swim this race that much.
Right, so she's going to take advantage of certainly jumping out quickly.
Oh boy, I hope she's what she's doing.
Certainly, I think her teammates know she's out there.
Yeah, they do.
Melinda Zhang in 5 has been sub 150 on a relay, I believe, last year.
She was 148.
Yeah, 148 in the 800 free relay. Weber turning first at 54.2. Zhang is second, 54.8. Third is Kronig in lane 3, 55.9. So Army leading 1, 2, 3 right now. Here comes Zhang. It looks like Zhang. I suspect Weber maybe overswam the first 50, 75.
She still looks pretty strong here. Let's see what the 50s are.
She's got 50 to go. Zhang 28.4. I can see Zhang 152, maybe 151. Zhang just much smoother. It's going to be Zhang in 5, Weber in 7. Now you got Schultz in 4, coming up and challenging Kronig in 3.
There we go. Yep. Yeah,
Weber falling off a little bit. Our winner is going to be Melinda Zhang from Army in 4, Weber for Army in 5, Schultz for Loyola in 3rd, Kronig in 4th, and McMullen from Army in 5th in lane 1. Zhang wins the 200 free, 152.07. Weber second from Army, 152.92. Schultz third from Loyola, 154.17. See, Army takes 1, 2, and 4 in that event. Loyola 4, 5. 15-4 is your split for Army. Army 15, Loyola 4. Score 31-24 right now is the women's meet without the diving.
Impressive. Kelly Schultz, last split.
Right.
On 28.3. She had a lot left there. Very impressed to get.
Actually, the fastest split of the field,
Yep,
the last 50. The men's 200 free. Powell from Army in 1. Champagne from Loyola in 2. Dwyer in Army in 3. Muller from Loyola in 4. Falls in 5 for Army. 6 is Reed for Loyola. Rankin for Army in 7. And Conlon for Army Loyola in 8. Again, Army's in the odd lanes. 1 is at the bottom of your field, or bottom of your screen. Army's men in this event all have white caps on. So if you're watching, you watch the white caps, that's Army. Loyola has a mixture of silver and black, and just, yes, the swimmer in lane 2 is swimming butterfly. You can do that. Freestyle, you can do any stroke you want, so obviously his timing a 200 fly. Not sure why, but it's happening.
Tanner Falls is out 48.5. It's a good swim, but he typically takes his race out very fast.
So Army.
Lane 3, Sean Dwyer tends to come back at the back half. So it should be an interesting race between the two of them. Loyola has Henry Mueller in the race. He's in lane 4. He was In the Patriot League Championships last year, he was 7th.
It feels Tanner Falls is certainly trying to make a statement winning this race.
Oh, yeah.
So Army 1-2. Rankin trying to hold on in lane 7 for third. It's going to be Tanner Falls, 139.46.
There you go.
Second is Sean Dwyer in 3, 140.73. And down in lane 1, right below us, Jacob Powell, 140.84. Army actually goes 1, 2, 3, 4. You can only take the top 3. Top finisher for Loyola, Zach Reed, 142.34. A pretty good field. The flyer, Owen Glazer from Loyola, 153.86, which is not a bad time for a 200 fly. Curious why he did it there.
Yeah, and I would say Jacob Powell, who tends to be Mr. Everything for Army. 148.4 is very good. 140.84, very good swim for him.
This is a time trial. We've got a second heat of the 200 free. This is a non-scoring time trial event. 3 swimmers just swimming for a time. So they can't score. It's merely an exhibition swim. The team scores right now through the 200 free. On the women's side, Army 31, Loyola 24. Again, we'll add in the diving scores when we get down to that point. Army has 30 points sitting in the diving bank and Loyola 4, so Army's lead will expand. On the men's side, through the 200 freestyle, the score right now, Army 45, Loyola 10, and Army has 28 points sitting in the diving bank and Loyola 8. So the meet's shaping up very much as we talked about, and we're seeing some good swims.
Yeah, it is. It is. We're still seeing some, like I said, for a mid-season meet.
Right.
We are. And I would say in the last, Jacob Powell getting third in the 200 free with a 140 point, I'm sure head coach Brent Nigro is trying to determine who to put on the 800 relay.
Right, yeah. And I know
Sean Dwyer, Tanner Falls on there for sure. And then who are going to be the last 2? My guess last year it was Ian Tanzel was on there. But he's got to find a 4th swimmer. And I think Jacob Powell did him some good right there.
this time trial swim right now is Max Jordan from in lane 3, Jack Mowry in 4, and C.J. Sheldon, all from Army. Time trial in 200 free. And the 800 free relay, Tom, you alluded to it. Those aren't familiar. That event is swam on Wednesday night. The first night is the 200 medley relay and the 800 free relay. So you go into that event as a coach kind of cold. You can't see it. You know, you've seen those swims at the meet. You got to put your 4 guys you hope are hot that weekend.
Oh, look at that.
C.J. Sheldon wins the time trial 140.86. Jack Mowry 141.02. Max Jordan 141.83. So they're looking, you know, you've got to make that decision who your guys are on those 2 relays without having seen any swims that weekend so far. So it's kind of a crapshoot, so to speak. You got to put on the top guys.
And that's what you use meets like this for. Okay, now we're on to
the women's 100-yard backstroke. Setting the field, Grace Dwyer in 2 for Loyola. Maddie Clark for Army in 3, Tahila Crowley for Loyola in 4, Lane Peterson for Army in 5, Allison Przynski for Loyola in 6, Clara Williams for Army in 7, and Stella Meyerhofer from Loyola in 8. And interesting, Clara Williams in lane 7. Keep an eye on her. Lane Peterson in lane 5, really the top Army backstroker.
Yeah, she did a low 55, improved her best time by a full second at the Navy meet to win the race, which
right.
is a big surprise. Looks like she's got it here. She's out pretty good there, 27.7. Yeah.
You can see the Army 2 backstrokers, particularly in 3 and 5, working the underwater so well. Peterson has really improved on that since her arrival, and as you know, if you're going to become a dominant backstroker at the Division I level, you've got to be good underwater.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Now, Peterson's a good backstroker. She's 55. She's done more freestyle this year. Looks like Lane's going to have a good swim here. Whoop,
and
a little slow
56.51 Peterson wins. Second is Clara Williams in 7, 58.5. Third is Maddie Clark, 59.2. Fourth, Dwyer from Loyola, 1:00.04. So the Army backstrokers go 1, 2, 3, all going under a minute, with Williams winning. And Lane Peterson from Army winning 56.51. So Army picking up 16 points there to Loyola's 3. The score right now, Army 47, Loyola 27 through the 100 backstroke.
And I know when you see a time like 56.51 winning it, when she's done at 55 low, you wonder, but
That's a good swim at this point.
good swimming. They're tired, training hard.
Right.
Not a bad swim.
Next is the 100 backstroke for men. Lane 1, Sean Keenan from Army, Knurek from Loyola in 2, Leith for Army in 3, Cross for Loyola in 4, Edwards for Army in 5, Hayburn for Loyola in 6, 7 is Joey Kling from Army, and Matt Voigt in lane 8 for Loyola.
This will be a very interesting race here. Alex Edwards has a 4:47 flat best time. Coming into it, he should be favored, but I don't think he does not swim well necessarily when he's not rested. So this will be a very interesting race.
That's lane 4 turning first, Todd Cross, 24-3 from Loyola.
He's a freshman.
Cross went 48-2 in high school. Edwards turning and Cross good underwater. So Cross in lane 4.
This is going to be, there we go.
I'd say, and it's Teddy Cross from Loyola, 49.95. Army Edwards is second, 50.16. Third is Zach Leaf from Army, 50.21. Fourth was Loyola's Patrick Hayburn, 50.5. Fifth was Joey Kling from Army, 50.7. So Army goes Loyola goes 1-4, and I see the referee coming over, conversing with the starter. I'm not sure if he saw a false start, he's got to confirm that the starter saw the same thing. I'm not sure what they're discussing. It doesn't look like they're discussing. I mean, a discussion on a false start is you walk over and say, did you have lane 4 or 3? He says yes or no. He has it written down. Discussion done. Walking him, walks the starter, the referee walked back over to, apparently there was no DQ, or he mentioned something to him of which I'm not sure. So anyway, Loyola takes first and fourth, Army second, third, and fifth in that event.
Yeah, I thought, to be honest with you, I thought there would be, that race would be faster. We have all 4 or 5 people under 50 points. Now this race will be interesting here.
The women's 100 breast. They have Lily Mead, the girl we talked about, the young lady we talked about in lane 4. She's been 103. Her best is she's been 103.05 this year. And Ariel McGault in lane 3 is your academy record holder in the 100, and they turn together at the 25.
Now she has improved remarkably since she's gotten going. She was a 103 when she came as a freshman, already down to low 101.
So McGault in 3 and Mead in 4. McGault holds a slight lead, 29.93 at the 50.
Yep. And out in lane 7, Katrina Gilmore from Army. She's done very well too. 104 coming in. She did 101 high against Navy, so she's really proven up.
McGault has opened up her lead as they approach the 75, and seems no question she's taking this race. Mead and Gilmore turning almost together.
Now Mead has done a 102 as her best. She's been 103 this year. Looks like it's a race for second.
McGault in lane 4, 103.75. Second is Gilmore from Army, 104.9. Mead takes third, 105.2. So Army goes 1, 2, 4. Loyola takes third and fifth. We've got a second heat of time trial in the 100 breaststroke. Again, a non-scoring heat, just swimming for time. Score after the women's 100 breaststroke, and these are unofficial. These are the scores that I'm keeping. Army 62, Loyola 31 through the 100 breaststroke. Again, then there's a non-scoring heat. You've got 2 Loyola swimmers, Elena Mugno, Sarah Jackson from Loyola in 5. 4 is Mungo, 5 is Jackson. Looking ahead at the men's 100 breast, Tom, this could be interesting.
Could be. In lane 3, you'll have Cohen Rankin. As Ray said earlier, he was a top 100 breaststroker in high school. Not including club races, but in high school. But in a club race after the high school championships in Iowa, he did a 52.6 last year, which made him one of the top breaststroke recruits in the country. He's the younger brother of Will Rankin, the team captain you saw earlier in the 200 free. Also, you have Evan Yu, who's in lane 5 from Army. He's a Patriot League, reigning Patriot League champion in this event.
Right, and then Verheyen, who will be in lane 6 for Loyola, his career best 53.48. He at the Patriot League championships last year. He's been 53.3 as his best.
He did that at the ECACs after the Patriot League. So.
Gosden from Loyola is in lane 4, which is usually your fastest swimmer, and he went 55.2 in October this year. So maybe they think he's an up-and-comer. So Gosden in 4, Verheyen for Loyola in 6, you in 5, Rankin in 3. We anticipate being the race, and after the first 25, that looks like where it's at.
Yeah.
Rankin out in 3 real quick.
Oh yeah, he's expending a lot of energy.
He's really going after out in 25.42.
Okay.
Well, almost over a second ahead of the field. Now can he hang on?
Yeah.
Watch you. Verheyen now starting to come on in 6.
He should be low 54 or high 53s going out that fast. Let's see if he can hold on. Boy, yep, it's a race for second here again.
Yeah, it's you and Verheyen. The Rankin in 3 will win. Rankin 54.47. Second is you for Army, 55.73. Third, Verheyen for Loyola, 56.09. Fourth, Gosden, 57.09. Fifth is Durkin from Army out in 7, 57.27. So Army goes 1-2-5, Loyola 3-4.
That was a very good swim for Cohen Rankin, no doubt, this time of year, 54.
Yeah, he certainly went out quick. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Army picks up 14 points, Loyola 5. The score, unofficial score after the 100 breast, Army 67, Loyola 26. And we'll just kind of double check that. The women's 200 butterfly, our next event. Erica Esterly in 1 for Army. Lane 2 for Loyola Andress. Lane 3 for Army Kronig. Lane 4 Loyola Whitkop. Lane 5 Melinda Zhang for Army, just out of the 200 free. Right?
Yes,
that's
right.
tough double.
So
Braden Bowden from Loyola in 6, Larson from Army in 7, and Reibling from Loyola in 8. Yeah, so Melinda Zhang in 5. She went 159.
She went 59 at the time trial at the NC State Invite in November.
Right, so that would have been suited, but she did the two. Remember, she went 150, got second in the 200 free earlier, so she's trying to do it a tough double. I wonder if if Brant's purposely challenging her to try to swim a tough one and come back again and do a 200 fly, which isn't easy.
Not easy at all.
She's out in 59.7. She's dominating the field so far.
Yep. Evelyn Larson's doing well in lane 7. In lane 1, just as a sidelight, you have Erica Esterly, who is an accomplished open water swimmer, has done 2 of the Triple Crown open water swims, the 20 and 40 bridges around Manhattan, and also the Catalina Channel. And she also finaled in this event at the Patriot League Championships last year.
Zhang at 32 flat. Roughly will go maybe 203, 204.
Yeah, probably.
Not a bad swim considering you hit the 200 free maybe 15 minutes ago.
Now, lane 3, Maggie Cronin's also an Patriot League final, scorer. She made the big final last year. She looks like she's in third right now.
So Army going 1, 2, 3 in this event.
Looks like Melinda
Zhang,
she's paying a price. Yeah.
2:04.63. Good swim. Second place goes to Kronig in 3. Third, Esterly, 2:08 for Army in lane 1. So Army goes 1, 2, 3. Loyola's top finisher is Elena Andress in lane 2, 2:09.31. So is Zhang 2:04.6, Kronig 2:07.2, Esterly 2:08.3. Army 1, 2, 3 picks up 16. Loyola picks up 3. So the score, unofficial score right now, Army 78, Loyola 33. Through the 200 fly without the diving. Next event is the men's 200-yard butterfly. Setting the field real quick. Tanzel coming out of the 1,000 in lane 1. Stewart from Loyola in 2. Glover for Army in 3. Hearn from Loyola in 4. Pogue from Army in 5. Shinnick from Loyola in 6. Jow from Army in 7. Glazer from Loyola in lane 8. Tom, how do you see this?
Well, it should be between lane 4 and 5. Harry Hearn from Loyola was last year in the 200 fly. He ended up fourth, all right, but his best time is 1:47. Pogue in lane 3 from Army did a 1:46 at the Navy meet. So this should be a close race here.
Yeah, they turn all about even at the 50. It's anybody's race right now. I just keep an eye on lane 1. I just find it interesting. I've never seen Tanzel come out of the 1,000 and do the 200 fly.
Well, Coach Nyro's making a man out of him today.
Yeah, it's like doing the old Iron Cross. Remember the old days, the 1,000, 200 fly, 500? Of course, it was only 13 events, and you had a lot less, and they were just single-gender events, so you didn't have the women's rest in between. Your leader at the 100, Jack Pogue, in lane 5, just tenths ahead of the field. Pogue still turns first at the 125.
Cameron Shinnick is a freshman out of the Baltimore area. He's in lane 6. It looks like he's...
Pogue's opening up his lead a little bit more, turning at 120.9. He could go 148, 149 if he can hang on.
He looks very strong.
Pogue turning first. Lane 7, lane 3, boy, underwaters. Pogue's really trying to hang on as the field closes. It's still going to be Pogue. 150.08, 29.1 the last 50. Second is Nathan Jow from Army in 7, 150.82. Third is George Glover from Army, 151.20. Shinnick from Loyola is 4th, 151.53, and Hearn from Loyola is 5th. Army goes 1, 2, 3.
Okay, the next event, Army's best 50 swimmer is not in. Megan Cole is not in the event. Swimming for Loyola, Charlie Tullio is had a very, very good split on the medley.
Really, yeah.
Should be an interesting race.
She anchored that, so it's... I'm not going to set the field. Let's just watch the race. Of course, Tullio in 4. Tullio and then lane 5.
Well,
Angela Huang from Army, they turn even. Huang maybe just a slight lead. Huang really heavy on the underwaters. You see her, she'll pop back up right there. Lane 7. Watch lane 1. Watch lane 1. Megan Cole, of course, how could we forget about her? 23.71 wins it from lane 1 for Army. Second place, Clara Williams, 24.06. Third is Tullio from Loyola, 24.15. Fourth, Baumgartner from Army. And fifth, Fifth is Wang from Army. However, Moser from Loyola in lane 2 will get. So Army goes 1, 2, 4. We got a second heat.
Yeah, and my mistake there. Megan Cole did swim in that race. She wasn't slated to swim. It was supposed to be Grace Wagner in lane 1. And
yeah, they made our sheets had Grace Wagner in it. They made an entry change, which they can do. They give us these lineups at the beginning of the meet, and they're allowed to make changes as they go. And obviously, we're situated up off the deck and didn't get the change of Cole in 1, and certainly no surprise they see her win it from the outside.
Now, in the men's heat of the 50, you have Caleb Kelly, probably maybe second best swimmer.
Well,
after Max Verheiren.
Setting the preview for the men's 50, Caleb Kelly from Loyola in 4, Owen Harlow in lane 5 for Army. You remember them battling at the end of the medley relay with Harlow outsplitting him slightly. Owen Harlow, best 19.5 from Navy. Caleb Kelly has been 19.7. So watch 4 and 5. The money is it's going to be one of those two, the start and the turn and a little bit of swimming in between. Let's sit back and watch.
In the Patriot League last year, setting a meet record, Owen Harlow from Army. Caleb Kelly was 3rd.
Owen Harlow out quick. Caleb Kelly trying to come back. Harlow's got those long arms. It's going to be Harlow. 1997. Great swim, unrested, unshaved. Kelly second, 20.25. Third was Army's Vorthman, 21 flat. Fourth, Patrick Hayburn from Loyola, 21.14. And fifth, Wes Tate from Army, 21.34 in lane 1. So Owen Harlow wins the 2 bouts of the sprints today, 1997 to 20.25. Again, Tom, you remember the days when nobody went under 20.
And now he's doing it in the
Now they're doing it in an unrested, unsuited environment.
And that is, for both of them, that's a very good swim. No doubt. Well, we have some time, Ray. I'll tell you, Ben Forthman, he got 3rd in that race from Army. He's the one that showed up last year, the day before, reporting with hair down almost to his waist.
Yeah, I remember him.
And he said he was going to grow it until he had to get here, and he, as you can tell now, most of it's gone.
All right, so we're going to check and make sure we've got a correct score through the next event would be a normal diving break. This should be a 15-minute break for the diving event. I'm going to double check my scores to make sure I match with what they have downstairs, and we'll get back to you. Just a quick comment as we
The 15-minute break, if you guys want to take the break.
before we go, I just have to tell the story that you see guys going under 20 in the 50. And the first time that anybody ever went under 20, and you remember, Tom, when guys were going 20.2, 20.1, 20.1, 20, and the thought was, can anybody break 20? And it was the men's NC2A championships my senior year. We were at Cleveland State, and Joe Bottom, who many who follow swimming will remember was an Olympian and swam for USC. And back then, the blocks weren't tilted. Nobody wore caps. Very few people wore goggles. I know Joe didn't. Your suits were, I think they were they had changed to like kind of a Lycra type fitting. We went away from the nylon, but they were all briefs. And Joe had been 20 point, and everybody thought, well, if anybody's going to go under, he is. And it was prelims of the 50 free. I was in the back pool having swum the IM and was warming down, and the word started spreading that Joe Bottom was getting a rub down before the 50. And USC had this big guy who had sunglasses, and when they were serious, they got rub downs. And Joe never got him in prelims, and there you could see the wave spread that Joe Bottoms was coming up in the 50. Everybody scrambled down, and he went the 50, went 19.7, I think. 19.8, 19.7, the first man to ever go under 20 in the 50. And that night he won it again, but I think two other guys did, Gary Schatz, and I forget the other one. It was almost like once he did it, everybody else said, well, yeah, you can, and it happened. But that was in 1977. So I guess that's...
Well, now they're talking about
can they get under
19? Yeah, and what that shows is, and what you just stated there, in my opinion, which is worth, price of a cup of coffee, but a lot of the improvement is based on exactly what you said. Somebody sets the record, then the next day it's everybody's goal, and then the day after that it's everybody's afterthought. That has a lot to do with how records improve. Of course, in swimming, there's been a lot of other things. No doubt in butterfly and backstroke, the underwater work, the underwater dolphin kick has really changed those two races and made the times much faster. In breaststroke, the rule change where you didn't have to keep your head above the water through the whole stroke, only once during the stroke, made that very much faster.
Yeah,
in freestyle, there actually is underwater work starting to get incorporated to that too. It's starting to be a factor.
I mean, just the underwater work, and you certainly remember growing up, and even when we swam in college, the idea was that you didn't go on to be underwater. You dove in and tried to get on the top and swam. And now the idea of the dolphining underwater work is where you try to be, and nobody would have pushed the 15-meter mark. And nowadays, at that, you go to the NCAA championships in the 50, and they dive in, and most of them, all the leaders come up at 15 meters. They turn, come back up, past halfway, and then swim. And then the idea of, you see the Owen Harlow did it. The Loyola swimmer did the same thing, that shoulder-driven kind of a windmill freestyle that's very power-driven from the shoulders and not so much from the hips. I mean, if we did that back in the day, the coach would have pulled us out and started to make corrections.
He would have, primarily for a couple of things. You can't maintain that type of stroke very long. It has to be right at the end of your race or throughout a short race like the 50. But also, you might remember back then, the theory was you would swim, try to skirt along the top of the water.
Right.
And you're just not going fast enough as a swimmer to have that happen.
Right.
You've got to accept the fact you're going to have friction from the water and how the best to accommodate that, so people stopped raising their heads, putting it looking down as it should. And that speaks to, there's been a lot about technique that we've learned. And the underwater work, that was not, it was just proven, and actually by accident, with a swimmer from Harvard.
Right, David Burkhoff. 86.
He said he was, I was too small, too short to compete with the big boys. I had to get an advantage some way, and then he was at practice and tried underwater work and found out he could keep up. And then we find out later on that is basically the fastest way to swim. The problem is, of course, you need air, and you got to come up for air. And you can't keep going back and down.
David Burkhoff, the first time he did that in championship meet was at the 1986 Eastern Seaboard Championships here at Army. Right. And Harvard was a member of that conference, and by 87 he had perfected it. 86 was at Harvard. The 1987 Eastern Seaboard Championships were here, and that was Burkhoff's, I think, junior year. And he won the 100 backstroke here, and then went on to win it at the NCAAs. There was no 15-meter rule at that point, so Burkhoff would go almost the whole way, come up and turn, and he would come up a little bit less, but he did well over half the race underwater.
Yeah, it was no longer backstroke. It was basically underwater
kicking.
And FINA first made it, the world governing body made it 10 meters, you might remember, and they extended to
15
meters. But when he was long course, now Dave Burkhoff was a world record holder, long course in 100 backstroke. When he was doing that, he would go down probably 35, 40 meters on the first lap.
Right.
And it really changed things. And of course, then it took a while with butterflies.
Right.
Now, the first guy to do underwater work was Jesse Fasalo. And he was a very good swimmer in the early 80s, but he didn't do it the short, powerful kicks for the extended time that Burkhoff did. He's the one really, Burkhoff's the one that adapted the underwater work to what we have today.
Yeah.
But that has completely changed swimming, and it's only just beginning. And it influences short course swimming.
Right.
Yeah. But the point we're making here, there's been a lot of efforts technique-wise and all, to improve swimming, and it's worked. And there's been some technological things like the starting blocks, like the suits, that are much more efficient in the water. But
Right.
you still can't get away with the mindset that, okay, there's that record, I'm going to beat it. And
Yeah,
everybody
gotta-
fouls, and I think
And if
that's right.
Burkhoff sounds familiar, his daughter, Catherine
Yes.
Burkhoff, swims at NC State and is a national level competitor in backstroke as well. Well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. Thank everybody for putting up with Tom and I's trip down memory lane as we talked about underwater and backstroke. It's amazing to watch the transition and changes in the sport. Those of you who just are tuning in or just kind of watching swimming, it'll be interesting in 20 years what will have changed, because we all thought that there wasn't anything. I remember when Mark Spitz won 7 gold medals, the thought was, can anybody ever swim faster than him? Well, yeah, they do now, and a lot of women do as well. So it'll be interesting in 20 years what will be different. We're going to take a break here in about another 7-8 minutes. We'll pick the broadcast back up as we'll start with the 100 free. Again, this is Ray Bossy, just taking a short break. We're at Crandall Pool at West Point in the dual meet between Army and Loyola.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, you know? So I just joined.
But you know, you don't have to be in or have served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Here you go. My treat. I just got this super rewarding PenFed credit card.
But you're not in the military.
Everyone's eligible to join. And you get rewards for every purchase.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
Groceries?
Yep.
Gas?
Yep.
Restaurants?
Every single purchase.
Even dessert?
Here comes trouble. The Flamingo Fiesta.
Experience the power of cash rewards with up to 2% back on every purchase,
Oh, no pictures.
whether you're in uniform or not.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, you know? So I just joined.
But you know, you don't have to be in or have served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
My treats. I just got this super rewarding PenFed credit card.
But you're not in the military.
Everyone's eligible to join. And you get rewards for every purchase.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
Groceries?
Yep.
Gas?
Yep.
Restaurants?
Every single purchase.
Even dessert?
Here comes trouble. The Flamingo Fiesta.
Experience the power of cash rewards with up to 2% back on every purchase.
Oh, no pictures.
Whether you're in uniform or not.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, you know? So I just joined.
But you know you have to be in or have served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
All right, we've resumed action back here at Crandall Pool with the 100 free for the women right now. Lane 3, that's Baumgartner from Army and taking early lead. Baumgartner in 3. Moser, and the winner of the 100 free, Baumgartner, 52.81. Second, Faye Moser in 2. So the outside swimmers, Baumgartner takes a, gets first, Baumgartner first, Moser second. Third is Huang from Army, 53.4. Fourth, Tulio from Louisville, 53.5. So we've got a second exhibition heat of the 100 free. Okay.
Okay, we're finishing up with the exhibition heat in the 100 breaststroke here. We're going to start the men's 100 freestyle will be next. And again, this heat, which should be interesting, Caleb Kelly from Loyola going into the race is probably the favorite, no doubt. He'll be challenged on the other side by Will Rankin and Tanner Falls from Army. Caleb Kelly's in lane 4. Okay, Ray's got back.
We see Caleb Kelly again in lane 4.
Yes, he was.
This time for Army, Rankin in 3 and Falls in 5. Still going to, I think, Tom, we're going to see a decent race.
Probably we will. Now, Caleb Kelly was third in 100 free last year at the Patriot League Championships. It looks like Tanner Falls
is out. He's going to say, I'm going to take the lead and see if you can catch me. 21.58 at the 50 for Falls.
Boy, he's out there. He is out there nice.
Kelly looks like he's closing a little bit. It's going to be, I think it's going to be close.
The best times
Kelly.
For these two are both under 44. It doesn't look like, here you go.
Here comes your finish. I'd say Falls still has got the edge. Tanner Falls, 45.09, wins it.
Yep.
Kelly second, 45.17. Third is Rankin for Army, 45.73. Fourth for Army is Zhao out in 7. Fifth, Mowry from Army. So Army takes 1-3-4. We've got a second, a non-scoring time trial heat as well in the 50.
Something to point out about Caleb Kelly in that heat, he did get second. His best time is 43.75. That was the best time of anyone in the field. He did that leading off the 400 free relay at the 22 Patriot League Championships. He's going to be a factor in the sprint events, no doubt, this year at the Patriots.
So I've got the score for those interested with both diving events through the 50 free. Army on the women's side, Army 125, Loyola 42. On the men's side, through the 50 free, including both the 1 and 3 meter boards, Army 124, Loyola 43. That's through the 50 free before we did the 100.
Okay, and coming up in the next heat, we have the women's 200 backstroke. This will be an interesting race between Lily Mead and Lane Peterson. Both of them have been 147 in the 200 backstroke.
157.
157. Excuse me. Yes.
Well, I'd like to see a 147.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good. Lane Peterson from Army did that against Navy in December. Kelly Mead did that as a sophomore, earlier in her sophomore year. She's a junior now. And then there's Kira McMullen, who will be swimming in this race in lane 3 from Army. She's been 2 minutes point. So look for the race here, lanes 3, 4, and 5.
So it's Mead and setting the field, McGrath for Loyola in 2, McMullen for Army in 3, Mead, Tom talked about her in lane 4 for Loyola. Lane 5 is the winner of the 100, Lane Peterson for Army. Lane 6 is Dwyer from Loyola, Rotenberg in 7 for Army, and Crowley for Loyola in lane 8. Boy, it looks like Peterson's out trying to set the pace. Peterson turns first, 28.9. Mead behind at 29.7. Mead in 4 being pressed by McMullen from Army in 3.
Yeah, it looks like it's a race for second right now.
Right, Peterson certainly taking control of this race, turning at the 100, 59.2.
Yeah, so she tends to be strong in the back half of the race.
Again, Peterson was 157 at Army in December, so if she could go a 2-minute, sub 2-minute 200 backstroke here, and we talked about what state they're in, I would suspect both these teams are training hard. They're in kind of their final push of heavy training before starting to rest for the conference championship. So I can't imagine anybody is too rested.
Now look at this. She's under 130.
Well, she's 129.8.
Yeah.
She may go 200.
Yeah.
McMillan giving Mead all she can handle. Mead just slightly ahead, but McMillan looks like Mead looks like she's struggling.
Oh, she does. Yep. Yeah, Mullins. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Lane Peterson. Ooh, 2:00:15. Had to stretch for the finish. Still a good swim. Second is Kira McMullen, 2:04:49. Third is Lily Mead from Loyola, 2:07. And fourth, Mary Rotenberg from Army, 2:09:3.
Yeah, you're right. If she had a good finish there, she could have been 159 high.
She had to stretch, just hit a little bit off stroke, would have been 159. Still a dominant swim for Lane Peterson, leading from start to finish, leading a 1-2-4 finish for Army in that event.
Now this be an interesting race.
Next up, the 200 back for men.
Henry Mueller, lane 4 from Loyola, won this at the Patriot last year. Touched out Sam Wesley from Army in lane 5. However, since that time, Sam Wesley in lane 5 from Army has done a 143 high, which he did at the Navy meet. So he has to be the favorite going into this. Yes. We'll see. And also in Zach Leith in lane 3 from Army had a very good Navy meet, 145 as well.
Setting the field, Engler from Army in lane 1, Cross from Loyola in 2. Remember him winning the 100 back. Zach Leith from Army in 3, Mueller from Loyola in 4, Sam Wesley. Tom talked about him in lane 5, Shinnick from Loyola in 6, lane 7 is empty, lane 8 is Matt Voigt from Loyola. So your early leader is Wesley, and again, Tom talked about his winning, although in lane 2, Teddy Cross from Loyola is challenging him. He's a freshman.
And he did very well in the 100 back.
Right. So Wesley and Cross turning at the 100, just about even, 53-3 for both. Wesley turns slightly ahead at the 125. Wesley's big on underwaters. Came out a little bit farther. Wesley now has a slight, about a half a body length lead as they come in at the 150.
That was the weak part of his event, his underwater work. He says he's been working on it this season in particular. It looks much improved.
So he's now opening up a little bit of a gap. Swimming in third is Henry Mueller from Loyola in 4. So it looked like Cross tried to do a big underwaters on that one. He's pressing.
He's coming.
He's coming, but I think Wesley takes it 148.32. Teddy Cross 148.39. So a close win there. The third goes to Zach Leith from Army, 150.88. Fourth is Mueller from Loyola, 151.07. Fifth is Matt Vogt from Loyola out in 8, 153.26. So Army goes 1, 3, Loyola 2, 4, and 5.
Something I just noticed, Teddy Cross last year in high school did a 145, so he was no surprise that he was in that race. And that was a pretty good swim for both of them, 148 at this time. Okay, the women 200 breaststroke, Ariel McGault, we get to see again.
Right, so remember Katie won the 100 breast, I think 104 something?
103.
103, I'm sorry. So setting the field is Lowerson from Army in 1, Mugno from Loyola in 2, McGault from Army in 3, the winner of the 100. Wade from Loyola in 4, McDonald from Army in 5, Jackson from Loyola in 6, and Gilmore from Army in 7. You know, breaststroke has gotten in the last year or so for the women a very strong event for Army in the Patriot League.
No doubt, and these two, Ariel McGault, who's a junior now, and Katrina Gilmore, who's a freshman out in lane 7, both came in as very, I hate to say it, average times in the breaststroke and have improved remarkably. If I'm not mistaken, Ariel McGault was 222 coming into Army. She's now been down to
211, yeah.
Yes.
McGault establishing an early lead as they come into the 100. She's in lane 3. Again, lane 1 is at the bottom of your screen. You see McGault turning first at the 100 in 106.2. Second is Gilmore from Army in 7, 107.6. Third is Evie Larson, I'm sorry, Army in lane 1. So McGault establishing the lead. Army going 1, 2, 3 so far in this event. McGault turning first, 142 at the 150, 35.7. If she can go under 220,
yes,
that's a decent swim. She's certainly not pressed. She's has to feel she's in control of the race.
She's also a very good IMer and a good freestyler, too.
Right.
They'll use her on the free relay, probably. Let's see. Yeah,
She's going to be under 20.
Yeah, sure will.
Marianne McGault, 2:18.41 wins the event. Katrina Gilmore in 7, 2:21.74. Third is Evelyn Larson, 2:25.49. McGault kind of looked over at her teammates and coaches and kind of shrugged her shoulders as if to say, that's not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. I felt okay.
She could probably do that during the practice as well, and that's the way it is this time of the season.
It's nice to have a race when you're out in front and you want to go fast, but you're not. You feel like you're in control.
Yeah. So Loyola's Max Verheiden is in lane 6. He's only been 158 in the breaststroke. You would think he'd be faster at 5,300.
Okay, setting the field, Bernauer from Army in lane 1. You remember him from the 1,000 getting third.
Yeah.
Eisman from Loyola in 2. Rankin from Army in lane 3. He was the winner of the 100. Gosden from Loyola. You remember him in the 100 breast. In lane 4, Evan Yu. In lane 5, Max Verheyen. In 6, Durkin from Army in 7. Conlon from Loyola in 8. The early leader is Yu, 26.9 at lane 5.
Cohen Rankin is probably the best sprint breaststroker on the team. Evan Yu has won the Patriot last year in the 100s with a low, in the 200 with a low 155. And he looks very strong now.
Yeah, he traditionally is much more sprint-oriented. Yu, much more of a 200 breaststroker.
Yeah, no doubt.
Verheyen in 6, again, is Verheyen's best is 158 from his freshman year. So he has some speed, but it looks like those three. You've got Rankin in 3, trying to hang on. Yu, I suspect nobody's going to catch him in lane 5, and Verheyen in 6. Rankin pressing here.
Yeah,
127.5 for Yu. It's 30.1, 129. So Yu could go 158. Something like 158, mid to low. Rankin certainly in second. Third is Verheyen for Loyola. Here comes Yu as we come to the finish.
He probably will get under 2 minutes here, yep.
158.43, Evan Yu. Lane 2, second is Cohen Rankin, 2:00.80. Good swim for him. Third is Verheyen from Loyola, 2:04.70. Fifth is Loyola's Zach Eisman. And third was Clayton Bernauer in lane 1. The 1,000 guy. I wonder if they're thinking the 400 IM for him.
Well, he is. He did swim at the Patriots last year.
Right. So works in breaststroke.
Yep.
So it goes Army, Loyola, Army, and then Loyola. Next up, the women's 500 free. Setting the field, Erica Esterly, you remember him in the 200 fly. Tom talked about her open water background in lane 1 for Army. Suzuki from Loyola in 2. Lane 3, Army O'Shaughnessy. Lane 4, Faith Carr from Loyola. 5 is Weber from Army. 6 is Massetti from Loyola. 7 is Clara Williams from Army. And 8 is Suarez from Loyola. A lot of familiar names from the 1,000, 200 free.
Yes.
Some coming down, some moving up in terms of distance.
I'd say in lane 5, Molly Weber's been under 450 as a high school swimmer. She's a freshman now. And she won the race in the, was the first swimmer for Army in the Navy meet. She didn't win the race. 454, then 455 was Claire Williams in lane 7 against Navy. She's pretty much coming into Army. She's a sophomore now. Came into Army as a backstroke and a butterflyer. Brent Nigro, the head coach, saw some potential as a freestyle, and that's what her primary events are: 100, 200, and 500 freestyle.
Weber, you remember in 5, she got second in the 200, but was out really fast.
Oh, boy, she did. Yeah,
she's out in 56.6, again, ahead of her teammate Clara Williams in 7.
And she paid a very serious price for going out that fast.
Yeah, so you see Weber out first in 5, Clara Williams from Army in 7. Again, Army in the odd lanes. In the black caps, Loyola kind of in their silver caps. It's kind of hard to see a little bit, but Army right now going 1, 2, 3. Third place is O'Shaughnessy from Army in 3.
Yeah, she won the 1,000. She's been 4:55 is her best time in the 500. She's a freshman.
So we approach the 200-yard mark of the 500 free. Your leader is still Molly Weber in 5. She turns 157.52, 30.6. Second is Clara Williams out in 7, 2006. And third is O'Shaughnessy, Bridget O'Shaughnessy in 3. So Army still going 1, 2, 3 as we approach the halfway point of the race at the 250. I'd say, Tom, that Weber certainly looks in control. I don't see anybody wrestling the lead from her. The question is just how fast is she going to go?
Well, she's keeping it down, low 30 points, so she's not dying, at least not yet.
Certainly, if she could go under 5 minutes, that would be an impressive swim today.
I think so.
And I know that they haven't rested. They're still in, as we talked about, heavy training cycles as everybody's putting in that last little bit of hay in the barn as they start to prep for the championships, the Patriot League championships in the middle of February at Bucknell.
I mean, she expended a lot of energy in that 200 free.
Right.
Not as fast as she did. That's a painful way to swim a race. So she was 30.3.
30.3.
Yeah, she's hanging in there.
She's going to be close.
Yep.
And for Army, this is their last competition before the Patriot League Championship. So for Loyola, they have a senior meet tomorrow. Loyola will head back to Baltimore and swim McDaniel tomorrow in a senior meet.
Yes.
Loyola heavily favored in that meet against a local team.
Yes, I would agree with that. Heavily favored.
Yeah. So we were wondering if Coach Nigro and the staff were using this meet to make any final decisions for the lineup for Patriots. Again, for the Patriot Championships, you can take a squad of 18. Divers count as a third, so you're going to take 3 divers and 17 swimmers. Obviously, there's more than 17 swimmers on a team, but you can take 17 to score. There are no exhibition swimmers at the Patriot League Championships. That's another issue we can discuss at some point. So only 17 people go, and
on the men's side, there's going to be about 5 or 6 very disappointed swimmers who other years would qualify.
But the point I was making is we've talked to both staffs, and they have their minds made up of which are going to be their 17 to score, and so they really don't see any of the races here as kind of a swim for your spot type thing. They know who they're going to take and who they're going to score at the championships with already.
Yep. And it's nice, at least the Army men have the depth where they can pretty much say, you can swim 3 individual events at the championships, and the ones that are taken are the ones that have those 3 events that can score points.
Now, Molly Weber coming in the last 25, she was barely under, so I think we can see a sub 5 minute 500 here from her. We talked about that being a good swim, and she's going to be 4:59.31.
Did make it well, a little slow in that last 50.
Right.
I thought she'd be able to
29.5. Clara Williams, 5:05.77 out in 7. Coming in third is Bridget O'Shaughnessy, followed by Haley Suzuki from Loyola in 2. So Army goes 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, Bridget O'Shaughnessy, I'd say she's one tired swimmer after that 1,000 and 500.
Right.
She's ready to call it a day, I bet.
Next up will be the men's 500-yard freestyle. Setting the field, Bryce Baralt in 1, the winner of the 1,000. Carter Dickey from Loyola in 2. Jack Pogue from Army in 3. Alex Plavakis from Loyola in 4. Sean Dwyer from Army in 5. Tommy Noon in 6 for Loyola. 7. Wes Tate for Army. Jonah Goodman from Loyola in 8. Tom, what do you see here?
Well, the sleeper in this is Wes Tate. I haven't noticed him swim any other event. I think he swam the 50 freestyle, so he should be rested. He won the event for the 4:21, I believe it was, against Navy. Sean Dwyer is also, Wes Tate finaled in the Patriots last year. Sean Dwyer did as well. And, of course, Bryce Baralt in lane 1. His best is 4:23. My guess is he's not going to let anybody beat him today. We'll see.
Interesting that for Loyola, we were looking for Henry Mueller, who was 4:24 at the Patriot League Championships this year. He's not entered in the event.
He's not. He had a kind of a weak swim in the preliminaries. Did 4:24, got 9th because he was in the consoles. Would have gotten, I think, 4th if he were in the finals.
And
he's a good 500 swimmer.
I don't know, Tom. Has he swum any other events? Is he at the meet today?
Oh yeah, he is.
He is.
Oh no, wait a second. Bryce is starting.
Bryce out in 51.7 in lane 1. You may have trouble seeing that one. That's down in lane 1. You can kind of block by the crowd.
Maybe nobody told him it's 20 laps.
No, I think I think they maybe wanted to put some of the, I don't want to say slower swimmers, but the lower ranked team in, go nose to nose and put Bryce outside and see what he can go. Let the rest of them race. He's 27.9 at the 150. Second is Wes Tate at 123, but that field is pretty much all bunched together.
It is, yeah.
All the way across except for Baralt in 1. So again, keep an eye at the bottom of your screen. Bryce Baralt in lane 1, well ahead of the field. He was the winner of the 1,000.
He was, yeah. Let's see.
And he's been... what's Barrel's best 500?
4:23.
4:23. So
now Wes Tate, nice story about him in the 200 against the Navy in a critical race to kind of decide the direction of the meet. He pulled out second place at a 136 flat, improved his time by 2 seconds, and got second to Sean Dwyer, who set the Academy record with a 135. And Tate tends to be a second half swimmer.
Right.
So watch him get stronger as we go on here.
So lane 3, Jack Pogue.
Yeah, Pogue is up there. Look at that. Well, now Jack Pogue's a butterflyer who will be going to the Patriots. He needs a third event. And I wonder if they're thinking
the 500.
Well, you never know. So if Coach Nigro's listening right now, he ought to be looking for a Pogue in the 500, huh?
Pogue, if I recall, won the 200 fly here earlier.
Yes, he did.
So I would think you're right on that they're thinking, of course, you have to have a time in the event in the Patriot Championships, right? In order to, I don't think you can enter no time. Okay, some conferences don't allow it, some do. So Baralt either is just backing off or is really struggling, or Tate's now 27.5 to Baralt's 28.5. He's made up over a second.
And this is the way Tate swims his races. He likes to come on strong at the end. And it's so much better to be catching somebody than
trying to hang on.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. Oh, yeah.
So it's going to, I wonder if Baralt sees him.
Well, he better look
If he
over
doesn't,
there.
he better look real quick. They've got 100 yards to go, and they're just 4/10. Barrel's just got a 4/10 lead in lane 1 over West Tate in lane 7.
Oh, look
So
at him now. He's still.
I'd say, yeah, he turned well ahead of Barrels. I think West Tate's going to take this race.
Look at that strong. Look at that kick.
He's
No, wait, Barrel. Oh, wait. Oh, look at this. We're having a race of the meet right here.
Barrel just pulling away. Or, no, I'm sorry, West Tate in lane 7. You see him just pulling away. Although Barrel's trying to come. You can see him at the bottom of your screen, hidden by the event bar.
I don't know.
There's West Tate. He's going to win the event. West Tate, your winner, 4:34.30, 4:34.43. So Barrel doesn't go down without a fight. Pogue is third, 4:40.24.
Sean Dwyer's been a 4:23, I believe. He did a 4:43, so not a real good swing for him, but that also says Pogue has a nice race.
Right.
4:40.
So I think Barrel was struggling and saw Tate going by and said, you may win, but I'm not going to give it to you. West Tate wins by just over a 10th over a fast closing Bryce Barrel coming back in lane 1. 24.5 the last 50, Tate 24.8.
I don't think Barrel's too upset about that. He's got several races to prove himself.
Women's 100 fly up next. Setting the field in lane 1, Wagner for Army. Lane 2, Whitcop from Loyola. Kronig from Army in 3. Schultz for Loyola in 4. Megan Cole for Army in 5. Winner of the 50. Laura Latham from Loyola in 6. Maddie Clark from Army in 7. And Elena Andress from Loyola in 8. So
I wouldn't, Michaela Schultz, I wouldn't count out here. She did a low 54 split in their invite in November. She looks going out strong. Megan Cole's been under 54. Last year at the Patriot League, she was 53.9, I believe.
So that's Cole in 5 with the black cap.
And
on either side, the Loyola swimmers with Schultz in 4 and Latham in 6. So Cole turns first at the 75, and she comes up. Again, remember, Megan won the 50 earlier. And it looks like she's going to hang on to win the 100 fly. Another deep finish, 56.95, Megan Cole. Loyola takes second and third with Schultz and Latham. Fourth is Koenig from Army. Fifth is Whitcop from Loyola. So Army takes 1, 3, 4. No, I'm sorry, Army takes 1, 4. Loyola 2, 3, 5. We've got a second non-scoring heat in the women's 100 fly here. Just real quick, it's Suarez from Loyola in 2, O'Connor Loyola in 3, Bowen in 4, Carr in 5, Lebed in 6, and Reibling from in 7, all from Loyola. So this is a Loyola inter-squad meet for the 100 fly exhibition heat. Again, non-scoring, swimming for times, probably trying to see, maybe just trying to decide a third event or try to swim their way on. But the Loyola coaches told us they pretty much had their mind made up about who their scores were going to be. I know Army's going to send some of their non-scores to the ECAC championships and also some up to the Boston University Invite, who are not on the team that's going to the Patriot Championships, as a number of teams do. Is Loyola sending anybody to follow on championships? Do you know?
I didn't ask. I don't know. The men's score through the 500 free, Army 171, Loyola 62. So they have won the meet. We don't know if there's any exhibitions. We're not informed of that. I mean, Army men having 171 points have secured the victory.
and the women are very much the same. I'm still waiting to confirm a finish that we missed up here, but I'm sure the women are well in control of their meet. Next up is the men's 100 fly. Set in the field, Powell from Army in 1, Champagne from Loyola in 2, Vorthman from Army in 3, Hearn from Loyola in 4, Keenan from Army in 5, Shinnick from Loyola in 6, 7, Glover from Army in 7, 8 is Hayburn from Loyola.
Yeah, I would say the favorites in this are Patrick Hayburn and Henry Hearn from Loyola. Both have been low 48s.
If there's one event that Army, I don't want to say is their weakest event is the 100 fly. Would you say?
Probably so.
I mean, not to say that they're bad, but they're very average in the Patriot League in the 100 fly.
That's true.
To be honest, look at lane 8. That is Patrick Hayburn. You talked about him. His best. He went 48-1 in the Patriot League Championships last year. And he certainly is the leader. Of course, you got lane 1.
Oh, look at
Nathan Jow. But no, it's going to be Hayburn. Hayburn from Loyola, 49.76. Nathan Jow from Army, 49.89. Third is Glover from Army, 50.2. So Loyola goes 1. Army 2-3. Fourth, Shinnick from Loyola, 50.3. And fifth was Loyola's Harry Hearn. You can only score top 3. Oh, no. Okay, Loyola, and then fifth. Yeah, so Army would take 2-3, Loyola 1-4-5 in that event.
And Patrick Hayburn has a younger brother who will be coming to Loyola next year. Probably one of the better backstrokers in the country. Loyola is sure very happy to get him. There's been 2 Hayburns that have already been through, an older sister, older brother. Have already been through Loyola. Patrick's the 3rd, and then we'll have the brother coming up the 4th. He did very well in the Olympic trials in 2021 in the 2, and I believe it was 100 backstroke. And it just shows another sign of how Loyola is getting the good recruits and moving up their standing within the Patriot League.
Yeah, so unofficially the score through the 100 fly, including all the diving right now, the men, Army 178, Loyola 74. I look on the women's side, we just didn't record the 100 free finish for the women. However, Army, before that was 125-42. Army has got probably 160 or so points, so they've secured the win. As we have 2 events to go, the 200 individual medley and the 400 freestyle relay. We'll take a 10-minute break here at West Point. And again, we have 2 events remaining in the dual meet between Army Black Knights and the Loyola Greyhounds. Army having secured victories in both events. And we'll be back in a few minutes. Go to the kitchen and get something to eat.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, so I just joined.
But you don't have to be in or served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Here you go.
My treats. I just got this super rewarding PenFed credit card.
But you're not in the military.
Everyone's eligible to join. And you get rewards for every purchase.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
Groceries?
Yep.
Gas?
Yep.
Restaurants?
Every single purchase.
Even dessert?
Here comes trouble. The Flamingo Fiesta.
Experience the power of cash rewards with up to 2% back on every purchase,
Oh, no pictures.
whether you're in uniform or not.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, you know? So I just joined.
But you know, you don't have to be in or have served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Brand new.
Here you go.
My treats. I just got this super rewarding PenFed credit card.
But you're not in the military.
Everyone's eligible to join. And you get rewards for every purchase.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
Groceries?
Yep.
Gas?
Yep.
Restaurants?
Every single purchase.
Even dessert?
Here comes trouble. The Flamingo Fiesta.
Experience the power of cash rewards with up to 2% back on every purchase,
Oh, no pictures.
whether you're in uniform or not.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow, my possibilities are endless. West Point, where leaders are made.
So I said, serve my country and give my life structure. Win-win. What about you?
Well, I just wanted a great rate on an auto loan from PenFed. I can save thousands over the life of the loan, you know? So I just joined.
But you know, you don't have to be in or have served in the military to get a great rate from PenFed, right?
Huh.
For a limited time, get a $200 bonus on an auto loan with PenFed. Apply today at penfed.org/bonus.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Brand new.
Here you go.
My treats. I just got this super rewarding PenFed credit card.
But you're not in the military.
Everyone's eligible to join. And you get rewards for every purchase.
Everything?
Mm-hmm.
Groceries?
Yep.
Gas?
Yep.
Restaurants?
Every single purchase.
Even dessert?
Here comes trouble. The Flamingo Fiesta.
Experience the power of cash rewards with up to 2% back on every purchase,
Oh, no pictures.
whether you're in uniform or not.
PenFed's got great rates for everyone.
Today, I'm a captain on the Army West Point football team. Tomorrow, I strive to lead winning teams.
Today, I study to excel in the classroom. Tomorrow, I can reach for the stars.
Today, I am leading cadets during summer training. Tomorrow, I will be ready to lead soldiers on the battlefield.
Today, I lead with character as the brigade commander. Tomorrow,
Welcome back
my
to West Point.
possibilities
This is Ray
are
Boss along with
endless.
Tom Sleer doing
West Point, where leaders are made.
for the Army versus Loyola meet. We've got two events
So I
remaining,
said,
the
serve my
200
country,
medley,
give my
the
life
400 free
structure.
relay. The scores right now through every event but those two. Army won, on the women's side, Army 195, Loyola 67. So they have passed the 151. On the men's side, Army 188, Loyola 74. So Army has secured victory in both of the meets. Here on Senior Day at West Point, we've got the 200-yard individual medley and the 400 free relay to go. Setting the field for the women, Maggie McDonald from Army in 1. Lane 2, Grace Dwyer from Loyola. 3 from Army, Melinda Zhang. 4, Lily Mead from Loyola. 5, Catriona Gilmore from Army. Lane 6, Laura Latham from Loyola. Ariel McGault, the winner of both breaststrokes, in 7. And Kira McGrath from Loyola in 8. And again, the officials are getting into position. This will be 200 yards individual medley. Tom, we got McGault, who won the breaststroke. Mead, we've talked about her. She did not look particularly strong in the backstroke and the breaststroke, so be interesting to see.
Yeah, Lily Mead comes in with clearly the best time in the 200 IM, 158. But you're right, she has not necessarily been swimming that well as of late. And Ariel McGault has been swimming very well.
Come on, Lou. Lily Mead in forward out 4, out quickly, followed by Catriona Gilmore in 5. Tom, you know, what's Gilmore's best? Do you recall off the top of your head?
Yeah, she had it in, I'll have that for you in a second. She swam it in the Navy meet.
So your swimmers in the center all turning at 27 high. McGault 28.8. We talked about her in 7. Watch for her to close on the breaststroke leg.
Yeah, Katrina Gilmore's done 201.13 and Melinda Zhang 202.22.
So 201 and 202 flanking Mead, whose best is 158.
She did her freshman year.
Right,
She's
her
now a
freshman
junior.
year.
Now the best swimmer in this event from Army, Megan Cole, who won the fly in the 50 free. She won this in the championships last year with 2 minutes and 3/10, touching out Lily Mead.
Right, so
but she's not in the race.
Gilmore and Mead going neck and neck. Gilmore in 5, opening up a slight lead in the breaststroke leg, and Melinda Zhang closing.
Coming back from her 200 breaststroke, Katrina Gilmore coming in strong.
Wow. Well, yeah, Gilmore.
She's a pretty good freestyler, too.
Gilmore turns first at 135, followed closely by Mead and Zhang, both at 137. So it'll be Zhang and Mead racing a 50 for second. Looks like Zhang opening up a slight lead, so it looks like it'll be Army's Gilmore in first, Zhang turning ahead, so Army at 1-2, Loyola in third. Katrina Gilmore closing, winning the event, 205.49. Second, Melinda Zhang, 206.12. Lily Mead, 208.08. Fourth was Army's Ariel McGault, 209.87. So Army goes 1, 2, 4. Loyola 3-5. The women's score right now, Army 200, Loyola 71. There's a second heat of the women's 200 IM swimming exhibition swims. That's Kira McMullen from Army in 4, Evan Larson from Army in 5. looking ahead to the men's 200 IM, Tom. You got you in 3, good breaststroker. Joey Kling in 5, and then Max Verheyen. We've mentioned his name a couple of times. He's one of their top swimmers.
Evan Yu is Army's second best 200 IM, low 146. In fact, he's tied for first with Sam Leslie, who's not in the race. Their low 146 is when you, Max Verheyen. He's been a 145.
At the end of season 2021, right?
Yeah, the year they didn't have the Patriot League Championship,
right, okay.
They found some meat at the end of the year to do that.
Went 146.7 last year.
146.7,
for the Patriots.
So we'll see.
All three. Joey Kling. So you'll see the race certainly should be in the center.
He's primarily a backstroker, a very good sprint backstroker.
So I would think that anybody going. We might see some guys push the 150 barrier, possibly, but
possibly,
well, those would be, I think, good swims at this point.
And then in lane 5, you'll have Jacob Powell, who's having a very good meet. I didn't know. I mean, he's got a good backstroke, freestyle, and butterfly. I'm not sure about his breaststroke. I have no idea how he'll do in this.
You're talking about Joey Kling. It's going to be in lane 5.
I thought, okay, my mistake. Wait, oh, my goodness. Yep. I thought that was Jacob Powell down there. My mistake.
So, again, we're talking about the upcoming men's 200-yard individual medley. As we close up the final 2 events at the meet, Army has secured the victory in both.
Hold on. That is Jacob Powell in lane 5.
Yeah, okay. So,
they're changing. Yeah, my eyes aren't deceiving me.
Okay, we're looking at lineups, heat sheets that were given to us at the beginning of the meet, and Tom's recognizing that it's Powell in lane 5. We'll look on the scoreboard when the event is pulled up.
Just to confirm that.
Winning the exhibition heat, Kira McMullen from Army, 209.44. Next will be the single scoring heat for the men's 200 IM before we get to the relays. And again, I see, and there's, according to Bruce Bannister in lane 1, Godsdon from Loyola in 2, you in 3, Verheyen from Loyola in 4. We say Kling, but let
Jacob Powell there.
Right, it's Jacob Powell in 5, Conlon from Loyola in 6, Edwards in 7, and Stewart in 8. We don't see the names till the event starts, then they come up on the scoreboard. Evan Yu out quick at the fly.
Yep, he is. Look at Alex Edwards here. He's a good backstroker out in lane 7.
Right. A good sprint backstroker. We'll find out what kind of breaststroker he is. And I wonder if they're thinking of a third event for him?
No, I think he's pretty well set. The 100 and 200 back.
And the 50?
Well, no, sorry, you're correct. They'll do the 200. He did it last year. Did not have a good event. But that's his only real choice.
Trying to... Verheyen takes over the lead as we approach the 104. Verheyen turns first at 51.7. Powell at 52.4. Yu at 52.6. So Powell actually ahead of Yoon. Verheyen still in control. Yoon trying to close the gap. Yoon's now moved into 2nd and 3.
Yep.
So it's Verheyen in 4, Yoon in 3, and Powell out there in 7.
Verheyen's a very good freestyler as well. I wonder if you can pull this out.
They turn 5/10 apart. Verheyen with a 5/10 lead over you, so it's the 10 and under 50 free to win the 200 IM. Who can win the last 50? They both turn. Yoon just a slight lead, so we'll see who can sprint home fastest. And it's Yoon, I think. Yoon wins 149.35. Verheyen 149.47. Third was Edwards, 152.79. So we talk about guys going under 150. We saw 2 do it there. Good swims for that point.
Very good swims, yes. 149 in a meet like this is very good for both of them. Of course, it helped that they were both neck and neck throughout.
Score in the men's meet now, Army 202, Loyola 79. We've got the 400 free relay. Army's relay in 5, Cole, Weber, McMullen, and Wang. Loyola in 4, Moser, Meyerhofer, Kolar, and Tullio. Those are probably the two best relays for each team.
They are, and it looks like lane 5 has the best Army relay, and that's anchoring that is Kira McMullen, who just got out of that exhibition swim. They changed it?
Well, I got McMullen third and Wang fourth on the...
Oh, okay, she's third. I'm sorry. She just swam the 200 exhibition IM.
Right.
So she's going to have a tough race here.
That's Faye Moser from Loyola in 4. Leading off for Army, Megan Cole, who won the 50. So Army's kind of using one of their top swimmers up early. We expect the lead is 4 and 5. So it's Moser for Loyola, Cole for Army as we get ready to hand over the second leg. Megan Cole leads off 52.96, 53.17 for Loyola. In the water now for Army is Molly Weber. You remember her winning the 5 and getting second in the 200. For Loyola, Stella Meyerhofer. Molly Weber opening up about a body length lead as we approach the 150 point. Closing on the Army B in lane 3 is Autumn Baumgartner. Molly Weber just pulling away, opening up this one as she gets ready to hand it over to Kira McMullen, who will swim the third leg. McMullen in the water now. Army now in second in lane 2, just tenths ahead of Loyola's team in 4. In the water for Loyola in 4, Emily Collier, and for Army, Lane Peterson, the backstroker in lane 3. Karen McMullen.
Yes, surprisingly strong for just having swum that 200 IM.
Yeah, there's a tough double. You get the men's IM and you're back up.
Yeah, you're right back up, yeah. It's more like a training swim in practice and race.
Here go the fourth and final leg. Angela Huang from Army in lane 5 in the water now. In lane 3 for Army is Maggie Kronig, and for Loyola, Charlie Tullio, their top sprinter. I think Army certainly looks to go 1-2 here. Thinking about what time we should see. I think if they can go 28, 27, I'm really guessing the time certainly. Here comes Army winning 332.49. It's Army's B 335.23, and Loyola taking third 338.23. Army goes 1-2. That's the winning relay of Megan Cole, Molly Weber, Kira McMullen, and Angela Huang for Army in 5 332.49. The unofficial score I have for the women's meet: Army 215, Loyola 73, and again we don't know of any exhibitions during the final 2 events. Looking at the men's relay, I would expect, Tom, the same thing. Top relays in 4 and 5. Lane 5, Harlow, Vorthman, Falls, and Rankin. That's certainly Army's best. You look at Loyola in 4, Henry Mueller, Caleb Kelly, there's their top sprinter, Tyler Knurek, and Zach Reed anchoring. So 4 and 5 again should be the top 2 relays.
Yes, no doubt. That's Army's top, as of right now, their top 4 100 or 100 freestyle.
And last year, Loyola beat Army in this event at the Patriot League Championships by 0.5 of a second.
They did.
So
Army currently has the league record, which they set at the Navy meet.
Right. Army 254, and winning that meet set the league record. So Army went 254.68 on that relay last year for Loyola. They lost 2 swimmers at graduation. Army only lost 1. So you've got Owen Harlow, who did not swim the 100 free in this meet, so he's kind of out to see what he can do in this event. That's Owen Harlow in 5, 44.54.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to get a lead. Yep.
So Harlow turns over to Ben Vorthman for Army in 5. In lane 2, that's Caleb Kelly. Look for him to close on Jonathan Jow from Army in 2.
Now, Vorthman was not on the free relay against Navy. He was on the B relay, but had a very good split that would have gotten him on the A relay.
Right.
So he's from Kansas, a freshman, a very good sprinter, having a very good season. As you can see, Kelly's catching.
Yeah, Kelly passed the Army swimmer in 3 and is closing on Vorthman. So here we turn over to Tanner Falls in 3 and Tyler Knorick. And Tanner Falls for Army, Tyler Knorick for Loyola. By my computations, Vorthman 45.57 on that leg.
21.15. Tanner Falls.
Tanner Falls again. He definitely would be on the relay, I suspect. So Army finishing with 2 strong legs. That's Wes Tate in 3 now. Here we go, the final leg. That's Will Rankin, senior, swimming his last race at Crandall Pool. Nothing better than to finish your career anchoring the free relay in a victory.
He has an interesting history. He's came here, played football and ran track throughout high school. Decided to concentrate on swimming. When he got to Army, basically had to beg the coach to keep him on the varsity, and look how it's turned out. He's one of the better sprinters. And he's
team captain.
Yep.
And has led Army to a very successful season. And I'm sure he'll be in the mix at the Patriot Championships. As Will Rankin, the team captain, anchoring the 400 free relay in 4. As he approaches the finish, Rankin and 3:00:08.
Oh, good swim for both of them.
And 3:02.45. 3:00. So Army goes 1-2, 3:00:08 for the A and 5, the B in 3:03:02.45, Loyola 3:04.91. My score now on the men's 217-81. So I would say some decent swims.
Some very good swims, some close swims. The outcome of the score was what we predicted.
Right.
Yeah, but Loyola had some very good swims here. Obviously, is progressing in the Patriot League.
Right.
Should have a good meet in a couple weeks. Well, and Army, I think the coach has to be pleased with the swims at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think people stepped up. I know that we happened to stop by practice yesterday, and I can tell you, they weren't resting.
No.
They weren't resting.
No, they're tired.
And so I think some good swims today. Now it's to go back, fine-tune, start to figure out how you're going to rest and move on and go to the Patriot League Championships for the men obviously shaping up as Navy wanting revenge, Army trying that. They knocked them off in a dual meet. Can we knock them off at the championships? They know, talking to Coach Nigro, it's not a given. Just because you beat them in a dual meet doesn't mean you're going to beat them at the championships, but it also doesn't mean you can't.
Right.
And so the depth of Army, as you know, at a championship meet, if you're the 17th guy, you've got to think of scoring. Everybody's got to contribute. On the women's side, certainly Navy or Army's big goal through the year was to finish ahead of Bucknell. I mean, certainly they're looking at beating Army, but they went to Bucknell and has surprised us both with a dominant win over the Bucknell women, swimming very well after they swam an evening meet against Penn State the night before. So the women have to be thinking, okay, we finished third last year. We've got to move up to second, and then we start setting our sights on beating Navy at the Patriot Championships. So,
yeah, I have to agree with you, Ray. For the women, their real goal is to get ahead of Bucknell, which they lost by 7 points last year at the Patriot League. They want to win them. But now the funny thing was, last year, Bucknell dominated Army in the dual meet, and Army nearly knocked them off in the championship. So I don't think that dual meet indicates as much as we might like to think.
Right.
I think Bucknell's got more power, and that's their goal for Army right now. Trying to beat Navy, it's just a little bit beyond their reach. They're not, they don't have the depth, or quite frankly, they don't have the number of good swimmers that Navy does. But they're getting there.
Right.
And
they're closing the gap.
They're closing the gap, and beating Bucknell would be a lot of success for them this year.
Yeah, men's first, women's second would be a successful trip to Lewisburg for them at the Patriot Championship.
No doubt.
I think that the men's meet is going to be exciting. I think Army can win, but boy, if I was a betting man and had to put a lot of money down, I'd have to think hard about which team, because I'm sure Navy is seeing it as a revenge meet. They can't help but look at it that way.
Yeah, and there's no doubt at the dual meet, I'm not taking anything away from Army's victory against Navy in the men. No doubt that Navy did not swim that well in a lot of places. And it appeared to me there was probably a little bit of giving up there at the end, unfortunately. That's not going to happen in championship meet.
Right. The shock of what was going on. And Army just got on a roll, and momentum was on their side. And certainly we've seen it happen on both sides.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. So closing up, again, Army versus Loyola. On the women's side, Army 215, Loyola 73. And the men's side, Army 217, Loyola 81. Dominant victories here on Senior Day. Wrapping up from West Point, this is Ray Bossy for Tom Slear. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. Wish everybody good luck in their championship season, and best wishes from West Point. Safe travels home for everybody.